Hi, my name is Ben, the developer of Project Mammut. Project Mammut is a visual novel game engine that I have been developing over the past year. Its design ethos is to be easy to use for beginners, but if you have some experience with game engines such as Unity or Godot, you'll be able to understand how to make more complex games. This video is the first of several I'm going to be putting out for the launch of the public beta. And in this video, I'll be covering the basics of creating a project, writing a basic narrative, and some of the tools that you have for making that. Now note that because we're still in beta, some of the UI and features that you see in this video will probably change. We're putting out updates almost every day to add new features and UI and to respond to the feedback that we're being given. If you do want to help and report bugs or just make more suggestions or tell me what you want to make, please head over to the Discord. There is a link in the description and also on the homepage here. So without further ado, let's go through the process of creating a project. This is the homepage of Project Mammut. It has got three tabs at the top. The first is just basic news and updates. Second, we have some templates here. These are projects that are started for you. We've only got a couple here, but we'll be adding more as time goes by. And this is my projects. This is just a list of all the projects you currently are working on. To get started, click on templates. And we're going to use a blank project to get started. Give it a name. We're just going to call it my visual novel. Optional description, click on create project. This will bring you to my projects. You can see it listed here. Click on it, and here we go. If you've used a game engine before, such as Godot or Unity, you'll get a good idea of how Mammut is set up. Basically, you have a folder of which will contain different subfolders with all the files needed for your game. You'll find that folder down here on the right. If you click on it, you'll get to the file browser. Currently, there is only one folder here for your chapters. We're going to come back to that in a second, but first of all, we're going to talk about characters. Most visual novels have different characters that you talk to and interact with. Not all of them. You could have a visual novel that is purely just a monologue or a story being told, but in this case, we're going to show you how to do some characters. So first of all, we're going to create a new folder. You can just right click here or click on the three bar menu and go to create folder. And I'm going to call this characters. We'll double click on that to go into it. And we're going to right click in here again and go create character file. We're going to name our character. So I'm going to put myself in the game. So I'm going to call it Ben. And you'll get a window that pops up. I'm going to close the file browser for a second. Now, here, this is kind of all you need to set up your first character. It's all good to go. But we'll have a quick run through about other things that you can add in. First of all, you've got the name of the character. That's what's going to show when you're talking to this character. A key is basically the way the engine knows who this character is. So in your conversations, you refer to this character by the key. And you can change the key to whatever you want. But by default, it's just the name with no spaces and all lowercase. Description is purely there to add more information so you can store details about this character, not necessarily for the game, although you can grab this information from the game. It's more just a place to store notes or things about this character. If you've got a whole bunch of characters, you might want to put them into groups and you can add in different tags. So you can have the cool characters, and I am now a cool character. Um, if you've got different images for your characters, this is where you assign the default image. Now, we haven't put any images into the project yet, and we're not going to cover that in this tutorial, but this will have a drop down here with all the images you currently have loaded to the project. Properties, you can add different properties to your characters. Now, for example, you could have the age of the character, and you can set that to a number. And of course, I am 99 years old. Simple as that. And you can add as many properties as you want. Obviously, different games require different information. It could be the amount of gold in my pocket. It could be my gender. It could be whatever you wish to store against my character. And then we have emotes. So Obviously, when talking to characters in visual novels, we have different emotions for the characters. So you can have a happy image, a sad image, an excited image. This is where we can set them up. So I'm just going to set up one now. You don't need to do this to start off, but I'm just going to put a happy image, a happy emote in there. And again, you can assign an image to it and different properties to this emotion. So this will be very different depending on your game. And that's it. You don't really need to set any of this up to start off with. You just need to set up the name. But I'm going to save that and close that. And I'm going to create another character called June. And this one is going to leave, just save and leave blank. Okay, we've got our two characters set up. Simple as that. We can add as many as we want and come back and edit them and change them later. But it's a good idea to, when you start a new project, just put in your main characters just so you have them all set up. And then you can come back later and add in any more details. Now that we've created our characters, it's time to work on our dialogue. Our dialogue in Mammut is controlled by chapters, and these are files held in the chapter folder. So if we go into the chapters folder, you'll see that we have one set up already. We're going to double click on that and you'll get the chapter editor. Close the file browser to give us more space. Now a chapter could be a day in your game or an area in your game or a single conversation with a character in your game. It completely depends and it's really up to you. But give it a go, have a play, and you'll kind of understand how it all goes together. If you've used Twine before, you'll recognize a lot of this. Twine is a fantastic branching narrative engine. And a lot of the design of the chapters has been taken from Twine. You'll start with a start node. You can use the mouse wheel on your mouse to zoom in and out, and click and hold the middle mouse button to pan around. You can double click on the start node to get into the node itself, and you have a bit of text here. To play your conversation, you can click on the Mammut on the top left-hand corner, and it will just play it out for you. Nice and simple. And you can either click on the stop here or the stop here to go back to the editor. So let's rename start to bedroom, where our character is going to start. And have in here, you wake up in the bedroom. The blinds are closed and you are feeling a bit out of it. Simple as that. We can quickly just preview. Nice and simple. And stop the game. Now, we can then create another node to go to. So different ways we can do this. We can just right click somewhere and go add another node. This one's going to be hallway. And the easiest thing to do is hover over the first node. You'll see a little connection dot appear here. Click and drag that to hallway, and we have a link appeared. Now, links are all controlled in text. There are different ways to link, and you'll see we have the markup here. We'll preview that, and we'll have a link that we can click on to jump to the hallway. While testing, we can actually rewind, jump back to the previous node, and click on, again, stop to stop it. If we jump into hallway, and just type, you are in the hallway, and we want to just test from this node. Maybe we're halfway through our chapter, and we don't want to start again from the beginning. Two ways you can do that. Your little mini Mammut to the top right-hand corner of the node editor. Click on that, and it will start playing from this node. Or you can just right-click on that node and test from here. Now, if we jump back to the bedroom, you will see that we have our link markup here. If you've done HTML or used Twine before, this should look very similar to you. But for those who haven't, it's pretty simple. You have the opening tag and the closing tag. You can tell they're tags because they have an opening pointy bracket and a closing pointy bracket. And for the closing tag, we have an opening pointy bracket, a /, and then a closing pointy bracket. And the name will match. So link link. So this is open link, close link. This tells us which node it's going to go to. So for example, if I create a new node and call this one, say, bathroom, here I can literally just change this to bathroom and it will jump to that node. Put it back to hallway. You can even loop on yourself, bedroom, and it will loop back onto itself. But let's put it back to the hallway. And this part here is the text that will show. So sometimes you don't want to just write the name of the location you want to go to. You can say, walk to the hallway. And let's give that a little play. And click on walk to the hallway, and you can see we've jumped to the hallway. All right, and stop. Let's give it another option. So from the bedroom, let's go to the bathroom. We can say, walk to the bathroom. And again, play from here to see the option. Here we go. Click to walk to the bathroom, and we're in the bathroom. Get rid of the space in between. And that is the absolute simplest. We can start building quite a complex web of nodes for us to travel through and your story to weave in and out of. And if you play through this, we can see it again. We can just travel through the hallway, go to the hallway 1, go to the hallway 2, hallway 3. It will tell you if there's no text in this node. We can always go back just to keep testing our narrative. Now, that is basically it. I'm just going to, for now, close this, save this, and close this. If that is all you need for the game, or if you're just the narrative writer in the game, that's it. You can actually get on an entire game, very simple game, but a very good game, just like that. And if you want, you can just right-click on the file and download it. And this will download that file that you can give to someone else to put into their game. The file itself is basically stored as a JSON file. That's a really easy readable file for any game engine, not just Mammut. So if you've got a game that's been made in Godot or Unity, you can just drag that in there, and if your programmer should be able to read this and understand how it's put together. If you just right-click edit as text, you can actually see what it looks like in the back end. It's quite well structured and put together. So there are obviously different types of ways you can branch a narrative in visual novels. Instead of having this link way that you see here, you might have a way where you are presented with a bunch of options to pick from. So we can do that here too. So we're going to jump over here to hallway 3. I'm going to set this as my start node. So every time I press the Mammut button, it will start from here. And I'm going to put all the options here. So first of all, I'm just going to write, hello. Where do you want to go? Go. Now here at the top, we have a whole bunch of options for us, and there are actually a lot more. You can click here, there's stuff for audio, there is stuff for logic, if you want to get into programming. For now, we're just going to hide those. There is a complete help here that goes through different options and what they all do, but we're going to cover the basic one here. So we'll start here, just to the left. This is creating a normal link tag that you have before. Now, obviously, there's no node called passage ID. So let's call this new passage. It's telling you here that this link is broken because there's no node for it to go to. You can right click here and fix broken links. It will just create a new passage for you. For now, we're going to delete that and delete our link and jump over here to the actions. So first one is an auto link. So perhaps when you get to the bottom of the node's text, you just want to automatically jump to the next node. So I'm just going to click on this, and we're going to auto link to next node. I'm going to fix that link. We'll jump into this and just say, you are in the next node, and jump back. So if we play from here, you'll see that it automatically jumped to the next node for us. Now it was quite quick, so perhaps you don't want to jump there straight away. You might want to pause there. So we can use the pause button here. This will put a pause command to pause for a number of seconds. So let's pause for 2 seconds and give that a go. 1, 2, you're in the next node. Or if you want the player to click, let's get rid of that. We've got the await click function. So again, we'll play, and it's here. You'll see here awaiting wait click. When you click, it jumps to the next one automatically. You can use await click for other things as well. So let's put up here. Hello, await click. How are you? Await click. Play that. Hello, how are you? Where do you want to go? Click, and it jumps to the next node. Okay, press stop. We also have, instead of await click, its sibling, await click and clear. So this does exactly the same thing, but it clears all the text currently on the screen. So to preview that, hello, how are you? We click, it's still in the same node, but it clears it. Where do you want to go? You're in the next node. So these are all quite handy to control the flow of the narrative. We're going to delete a couple of these just to make them clearer. We also have this text speed. So this is how fast the text is displayed. So very good for dramatic moments or very slow moments, or when you want to use the displaying of the characters as part of a narrative tool. Now the number here is a multiplier to the base speed. So text speed 1 is normal speed. Text speed 2 is twice as fast. Text speed 0.5 is half as fast. So we're going to go right down to text speed 2. Right, this is slow. Then we'll put text speed back up to 1. So let's give that a shot. This is slow. Where you want to go? We also have link options. So let's get all of this. Get rid of that. We can put in some options here. So link options are the same as a auto link, but allows the player to choose where they want to go instead of automatically happening. So first of all, node ID. What's the ID of the node we want to go to? Let's go to next node. And what do you want to display as the link option? Go to the next node. Let's put another link option. And we're going to create next 2. And we're going to create next 3. And we'll just write them in here. Next underscore 2. Oops, no underscore. Next 2. Go to next 2. And we'll do one more for next 3. And what does that look like? When we play, we're going to get some options here. Now in your game, these options could be displayed as all kinds of different things. There could be pop-ups at the top of the screen or at the bottom of the screen. That's not important here. This is just purely a preview of your narrative. It's going to be up to your level designer or your UX designer of how this is going to look. But this is purely what it's going to look like. Let's go to next 2, and we can go down here. Now, so that means we've got 3 different ways we can transition between nodes. We've got our normal link, we've got our link option, and our auto link. Now, your game might be all of one or all of the other. So to make it easier, you'll see that when you drag and create a new one, it automatically just does a normal link. You can change that if you click up here on the options menu and go to project settings and story. We can change that to an option link by default and save that. That means when we create new nodes, we got a link option being created automatically for each. We can preview that, and here we go. Okay, so now that we have this all set up, this now should give you a lot of power of creating a lot of different options for your narrative. So let's create a new link here. Let's start from here from now. What else we got left? Okay, so we have the auto link, the option, pause, change text speed, awaiting click clear. This is a custom event. So this you won't be able to preview in the previewer because this is purely based on how your game works. This could be an event to change the background. So change background, and the name of the background could be highway. What this will do is as the narrative is playing out, it will send this we call a callback or a hook to your main game and say, hey, this event has happened. And your programs will set it up to listen for this event. And when it hears this change background command, it knows to switch the background to highway or change to the sky base, however you set your program up. So this can be any number of events you want. It's going to completely depend on the type of game that you make. And lastly, we have change character. So as you're talking, as the text is coming on screen, you're going to want to change the character. Now, that could just be the text that appears above the narrative text box. It could just be their name, or it could be a whole picture. Again, depending on how your game is set up. So we can sit here and go change character, Ben. So, hello, my name is Ben. I'm just going to do a await click. Then I'm going to change to June, go, hi, I'm June. Let's give that a test. And we'll see here, it's the little preview of who's currently talking. I'm June. That's all you need to just preview the narrative. Again, we'll show you how to hook this into the main UI so you can actually see the character talking in a later video. But that's about it. Lastly, we have comments. Say you've got a bunch of text that let's go back here. Let's say for the moment you haven't written these link options, but you want to keep them in there for future use. You can highlight whatever you want and click on this to comment them out. This will put a few of these characters here, exactly the same as HTML, that locks off that text. So it's purely there for later for you to use or for you to use notes. So I could put in a comment here and say, to do to write a better ending. Good note for yourself or someone else in your team. Now don't forget to save as you go. Quickly, we'll go through the audio. We have different ways of playing voices, music, ambient, or sound effects, or to stop audio and music. Those won't be covered in this video, but will be covered in a later video. And logic. These are a series of logic instructions for you to test for things. So you can test to see what time of day it is or how much money you have. But you've got a whole bunch of variables that you can play with. Again, we're not going to go into any detail here. Please read the documentation or watch the video that we'll be putting out later about how that all works. Okay, again, let's just quickly save that and close. Now, lastly, we're going to go over different styles. So as we're playing our text, we have our text in a basic style. We can change that from here. So let's go back to the very beginning, mark this as a start node, and you'll see when we play the game, we have the normal text is this white basic text, and our link text is red. Now, you might want all sorts of different styles in your game, and we can set them up. We have a style manager, which is this up here. Click on here, and we've got our base style, so what does all the normal text look like, and our link style. Let's just go into the link style, edit that, and we can see a bunch of things we can change. Um, this is purely running off CSS, so feel free to look up any CSS tutorials to understand all the commands you have, but it's very simple to set up some basic things. So we can see here our rules are, we have set color, we've set it to bold, and we've made the cursor a pointer. And we can check that down here as the preview. So let's get rid of the color, and let's add a new color. I want it to be green. Let's add it in as a color option. And that's what it's going to look like. Let's save that. Put this over here for now. We'll preview again. And our links are now green. Now, if we want a custom link, let's go add link. Let's go call this strong. It's kind of standard terminology. We can spell it strong. And we're going to make strong. We're going to make that a cyan blue color, light blue color. And we've got a whole bunch of presets here. So I'm just going to make this glow. Okay, add style, strong. Again, just going to close that for a second. Come back in here. Now, it's very common to have keywords in games that are important to be in a different style. So we're going to highlight bedroom. And you'll see now that we've got adds text styles here. So we click on that and strong. And that will add a strong opening tag and a strong closing tag to say everything between these tags is this new style. We'll preview that. There we go. You wake up in the bedroom. We can do even more by setting up fonts. Fonts are very simple to set up. We've got a whole font window. Now, fonts are all taken from Google Fonts. So the best thing might be just to go to Google Fonts website to browse them, as it's easy to search for the ones you want. And once you know what you want, you can type them in here. But you can also just use this list to kind of scroll through and find fonts. There is also a bit of a filtering here as well. So let's go for handwritten. And let's say we want this font here. Can I click on download? Now what this will do is actually download the font to your project. You can see it if we click down in our file browser, go back to our assets. There's now a fonts folder. We go in there and our font is here. To use it, we can go back to our style manager, go back into our strong, and we can choose the font from here. We can see in the preview, save that, and play. You wake up in the bedroom with fancy handwritten font. Now, of course, you can change any of the fonts. You can go to the base font. Well, let's make that one use this font. And you'll see that now all the fonts should be in this handwritten font. Okay, that's pretty much it for this video. Again, it's been quite a simple, quickly put together video. I'd love to hear your feedback and any bugs or issues or features that you want. Please join us on our Discord and have a good day. Happy creating.